So this is the last in the series of just looking at the basic pieces of structured content focused on these team pages before we start looking at some, I think, better and broader examples of why structured content's important. Because everything we've looked at so far has been on this team page, for which most websites, well, some have just one instance, but it is possibly common for a lot of associations to have departmental pages with many people. And of course, everything that you've seen so far is amplified every time you add another page of this kind. Because on top of being unstructured, there is the difference of content being separate as opposed to attached to the form of the page. And we'll touch on that later. And so I'm just going to look at one last thing to do with team, and it's to do with then creating a new team member and the difference with that. So we're going to go back into Kentico, into CMS desk, and we are going to create a new team member and look at how that's done in Kentico, and then we're going to do the same on the IAMS side. And we'll keep it pretty short, but this is how we do it. We say we want to create a new item, and as well as all the new types of things that we've got here, you'll see one of them is called a staff member. So we're going to choose that. And now you might recognize this form from one of the earlier casts. But so we're going to call this new person, and their first name's new, and their second name's person, and they are head honcho. We're going to grab a photo for them. We'll find one just in our downloads. I'll tell you what, why don't we use Stu's picture again, and then we'll say what's Stu's email. So he's stu at 3dn.com.au. We'll leave out all his links. We'll just put a Twitter one in just so we see the effect of it, /Stu. And then we'll say, here is a great bio about this new staff member. Right, and if they had a blog, we could put in the link to the blog. But you'll notice as we're doing this that we're not doing anything about how this content is going to be formatted. We're simply entering values into the structured elements that we've defined, and we're going to save that, and we're going to publish it. And then just so as not to upset anyone, we might move it to the bottom, and that's done. So now we'll go and have a look at the effect of that on our page. So we go back to our team page. There's Stu up at the top now. And then here's the new staff member, head honcho, image in the right place, the person's first name there, their job title, links to their email and Twitter because they're the only fields we filled in, and then some bio. Pretty easy, and we didn't have to know anything about how this was going to be laid out, formatted. We didn't have to know anything about where the image went, what size it was, anything like that. But now we're going to go and try and do the same thing in IMS Rise. So we're going to try and add a new staff member into the staff page and look at the difference. So we're going back to the leadership page, going into the part configure. So the first thing I guess we've got to decide is where we're going to put it. We'll just say this new person is going to end up down the bottom here. So we're going to say this is new person, head honcho, and then we're going to say this is some bio info about this great new person, and we're going to go and get an image. And while the image thing's loading, so then we're going to have to go, also we'll put it in here, say, we'll upload it. We're going to get it from the same place. We'll get it from downloads, get it from our images, find our image of Stu. We'll upload that. There he is. I'm going to insert that, and there's our content. And now we've got some issues because I've got no idea how this should be laid out. So for example, I can see that's in bold, but bold what, right? So we're lucky everything's in the same font here, but maybe if we wanted different fonts. So I'll go and get that. I'll assume that was a format painter, which is what formatting painters normally look like. We're going to make that guy bold. I'm going to have to find out about these images. They're not showing, but they're 97 by 36. So we'll go and make that 97 by, well, 81. And that's probably as best as we're going to do in this time. But you see, because I am not the expert in this content, I don't know how that should be formatted, but in order to create the content, I have to. So I'm basically in a position where when I want to edit any piece of content, I have to know all of the rules and styles that have to be applied to that piece of content in order to be able to effectively do it and not make a mess of it, because the tool is giving me no assistance in creating that content. And there's Stu down there, and there we go.